been a rough couple weeks, or a rough couple months, but this group grinded out, and we keep continuing to grind. So continue doing that, and playing the baseball the way we're capable of playing.
Bringing the same energy, trying to play our best game every single day, and a day at a time.
Test coming back clean. I'm not really concerned with where the nerves are right now.
So you fully expect to pitch again?
Oh wait, oh god, yeah. Clown question, bro.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV. I am Marty Caswell. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And I have decided to keep playing the clown question, bro, to Michael King until that man comes back, until he returns to the rotation. Hopefully, when the Padres return back home, we're going to get some relatively good news. I know Michael King is not on this road trip. He and his wife, Sheila, they are first-time parents, so hopefully enjoying some quality time in San Diego. Speaking of quality time in San Diego, it's great to see my friend, a familiar face for you Padres fans. That's Jake Garegnani of local CBS 8. Jake, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. All I have to say, Marty, is 3.5 games back, my friend. 3.5 games back. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. You're Mr. Positive. You've been this way for a long time. The last time you and I spoke, what did I ask you? Like, do you believe in the Padres? Are they going to be buyers or sellers? Do you believe this is a playoff team? And at that time, man, things looked terrible. I think the way they finished off their last homestand, right? Winning a series against the Philadelphia Phillies. And I know that put some confidence in that clubhouse, because these guys were pretty shocked to find out that their record is so bad against winning teams. I texted you on, I can't remember, maybe it was Saturday over the weekend when they were playing the Nationals, that if they had lost this series, if we were talking today on a Monday ahead of the Marlins about the Padres losing a series to the lowly Washington Nationals, it's over. AJ Preller, time to go ahead and sell.
Last time we spoke, you asked me straight up, and like you said, it was kind of in the darker days. You said, Is this a playoff team or not? And without a doubt, I didn't miss a beat. I said, absolutely, this is a playoff team. I still very much believe in that. And I think the reality of the situation is, and Manny said it in the clubhouse, this team has not played their best baseball in any form or fashion yet this year. And still, they're right there in the mix. They entered the break in playoff position. The division is still a legitimate thing. And yes, the Dodgers are playing bad baseball, but just based on the numbers, it's a legitimate thing that the division is in play. Obviously, the wild card well within play. You could have asked every Padre fan in the world at the beginning of the year whether they would take this position, and they would say yes. So the fact that they're not playing their best baseball and they're in this position, I personally think is a great thing, Marty.
Okay, then let me ask you. This is a question I actually wrote down for you right now. Okay, here on July 21st, right? Today is a Monday. We are 10 days away from the trade deadline. As things stand right now, as you see, what's in the NL West, the other teams that the Padres are chasing, including the Cardinals, who will get the end of this road trip. Are they more likely to win the NL West or to miss the playoffs altogether?
If I have to answer that question directly, they're more likely to win the West than miss the playoffs. Now, I think there needs to be a caveat with that, but I'm just going to answer your question fairly. Okay. Yes, they're more likely to win the West than miss the playoffs. This team's not going to miss the playoffs.
Not going to miss the playoffs. Okay, is it more about how the Padres are playing? Are you starting to believe in this offense? Is it about Yu Darvish returning the fold, the expectation that Michael King is, and he is convinced. I mean, there's some good signs from Michael King, right? He's thrown an unofficial bullpen session. Is it more about the guys who are coming back? And is it part of it? For me, it's, as you said, the Padres have played their worst baseball. You're seeing some signs, although it's not consistent enough. But I know what Mike Schultz said early, like in May, when they were struggling, that you want to have these struggles now and not in the later months. Look what's happening with the Dodgers right now. Mookie Betts, he was given a day off on Saturday because he is in the worst slump of his career. Missed the All-Star game for the first time in the last decade. Freddie Freeman has a wrist injury. Max Muncy on the IL, although he could return soon. Shohei Ohtani. Maybe if you're the Dodgers, you prefer that he's just a full-time DH and not a pitcher. I don't know, but the Dodgers are spiraling a little bit, and the Padres are maybe finding their way.
Every single team in Major League Baseball, look, many people would agree that this is the greatest roster ever assembled, or one of, with the Dodgers, right? But every single team that takes the diamond in Major League Baseball goes through struggles. It's just the reality of the game. We obviously focus so heavily on the Padres. It's our team. It's the team we watch every night. So the struggles feel very heavy. But the reality is every team goes through it. So the Dodgers are going through it right now. And to Mike's point, to your point, going through those struggles and still being where this team is at is, to me, the most impressive thing. That's why I carry, I think, such confidence that this team will be fine. I in no way see this team getting any worse. And that was the worst of it, right? And you're still right there. I only imagine, because of all the things you listed, people coming back, the trade deadline, the offense picking up a little bit, that this team just gets better. So to me, I think it's pretty obvious that this team is going to be in a really good position in a few months. And I know Preller will make some moves to help this team. I start to feel better about Michael King. Now, when it first happened, I said I'm pretty worried. And rightfully so. It's taken a long, long time. But, as you mentioned, he's starting to get a little bit healthier there. Yu has looked decent in his return and will, I think, only get stronger. So I just think there's a lot of things pointing to this team getting better as the year goes on, which is a great thing because the struggles did not tank them.
How much are you buying into what you're seeing from Xander Bogaerts? I mean, he has been one of their best offensive players over the past month. And I mean, he's helped carry them a little bit, which is something I wasn't expecting to go ahead and say at this point.
Absolutely not. And look, the struggles were as real as they get. We've talked about it a million times. First thing I'd like to say is I'm so happy for Xander. For him to have this success with the type of person.
All the guys in that clubhouse, when they are struggling, man, you can see how much it grinds on him.
Yes, and I love that because that means they care. And so, first of all, I'm very happy for him. And second of all, honestly, you're kind of seeing the Xander that was in Boston. So is there a reason not to buy into it? I don't think so. I'm not. He's probably not going to tear the cover off the baseball for the next 5 months, but to see him have this success is great. And to see him help win baseball games as he did yesterday in that series finale against the Nationals is huge. So if you get an ounce of what he's doing later in the year, that's massive for that lineup. That's like picking up another piece too.
Do you believe in this Padres team? Do you believe as strongly the Padres are a playoff team if AJ Preller does not pull off a move for? And I know what AJ Caswell told me last week. He would be shocked if they didn't add not one bat, 2 bats.
Yeah, it's a fair question.
Do you still believe?
It's a fair question, and it's a good question. It's hard to answer because I really, really don't think there's any way he doesn't make that move.
Yeah.
It's tough to say that. Okay, here's my answer to that. If teams around them get better, it's hard to sit there and not get better, right? So I think the Padres have to keep pace, and that means getting better. If they don't make any move and the other teams around them get a lot better, that's tough. That changes the whole scenario of what we talked about all year long, right? So I think, to answer your question, they do need to make a move, and I think they will.
Okay, this is something interesting that Jim Bowden of The Athletic wrote in today's. He says the Padres and the Phillies, of course, they would love to land Darren. However, the Padres don't match up with Boston unless the Sox would take a pitcher on an expiring contract like Dylan Cease or Michael King, or perhaps they could try a 3-way trade with the Marlins where Boston would get Edward Cabrera, Padres would get Darren, and Marlins would get prospects from both Boston and San Diego. Now, number one, I don't know how you trade Michael King. Before that, I don't see how you move Michael King when he's injured, when he's not even. We don't know what to expect from Michael King if and when he returns. And if you're a serious playoff team, I don't think you don't trade starting pitching like Dylan Cease. So I'm not sure about that. And then he says the Sox are building for the short and long term. Expect them to buy the deadline with starting pitching and first base their priorities. All right, Jake. With what you know of this team, what you know of AJ Preller, how is he also not trading for the short and the long term, right? You want to go ahead and add guys right now to help this team, might help them at least for a wild card, maybe the NL. But how are you not also buying for the long term, considering the nucleus you have in place? We know Manny, Tatis, Jackson Merrill, Xander Bogaerts, Darvish, Joe Musgrove, and with the guys who are going to walk away after this season, Michael King, Dylan Cease, Robert Suarez, Luis Arias. How are you not AJ Preller thinking, you're going for it now, but you're also kind of thinking about next year because this team's going to look significantly different come this offseason?
I think in layman's terms, and I don't mean this to sound disrespectful for AJ because I know a lot more work goes into it than the way I'm going to word this. but he almost is a make your team better now and figure it out later kind of guy. And look, there's way more research. There's way more stuff that he puts into it than that. But it almost is that approach, or at least it's felt that way in years past, where it's like, let's make this team as good as we possibly can at this deadline, and I'll figure out the rest later. And honestly, he's done a pretty good job of it. Now, yes, is the farm system way depleted because of the moves he's made? Absolutely. But yet they seem to continue to get good pieces in there. And I mean, there's been multiple times where he's pretty much sold the farm, built it back up, traded for big pieces, sold the farm, and built it back up again. So I honestly, again, there's probably a more eloquent way to word it, but I really do think he's like, I'm going to make a team as good as possible, and I'll figure out the rest later. I
think your answer was yes. Is that the answer? All right, this is going to be interesting because I had this conversation with Kyle Glazer of Friar Territory earlier, and I think he tweeted about this or put it on Threads or Blue Sky, but the Padres are not expecting Ethan Salas to play again this season.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about the guys the Padres could trade, some younger controllable prospects that teams might want, especially if the Padres are trying to move, a player that's making quite a bit of money, you can't trade Salas now because there's a good chance he doesn't return. How concerned are you by that?
I'm not, because I don't want them to trade Ethan, to be honest. I want him to stay in the system. So I don't really think he was a piece that they were going to move in all reality anyways. Mm-hmm. I think what people need to expect from this year's deadline isn't going to be your big, sexy splash move. I think this year in fans should really focus more on great depth pieces and pieces that are going to help this ball club that maybe aren't the biggest name out on the market. To me, that's what I want as a fan of the team, is to just make good, solid moves. I don't need the Jaron Durants. Yes, that would be wonderful, of course. But I think there's better moves that could be made that both help in the short and long term, with depth of this team, with bolstering a really good bullpen, maybe helping in some starting pitching, and just getting some good bench pieces and some good bats. Like that, to me, is sexier than the huge name out on the market.
Like Taylor Ward
pieces. Like,
interesting name.
There's a lot of interesting names out there that I don't think people are talking about, and honestly, that's typically like what AJ does, anyways. He goes and gets a name that nobody even had on their radar half the time,
Okay, I do want to ask you about your weekend and a couple other things too, but let me ask this. I was thinking about this too when I was like, writing up, how much is coming off the books come this offseason when Michael King and Luis Arias, Robert Suarez, most likely, and Dylan Cease, when they walk away, and how much is committed to guys. Manny Machado, 25, Hickson, 25, Tatis, Bogaerts, Darvish. Now, I thought Darvish had some really interesting comments to Kevin Acee of the UT over the weekend about how he really wondered if he was ever going to pitch again. I mean, this after the shoulder inflammation, after he had to work his way back through spring training, which I think is an interesting conversation for next season as well. Right now, July 21st, 10 days out, what's your absolute certainty when it comes to the Padres starting rotation in 2026?
The absolute certainty to the Padres rotation in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. I think it's still going to be a good rotation when you think about the pieces coming. Like, you're going to get Joe back, and theoretically you're going to get Joe back. The health of Yu Darvish, obviously it's going to be up in the air. To answer your question, the absolute certainty of the Padres rotation in 2026 is there's a lot of uncertainty. I think that's the best way to.
That's the most negative. Listen, Jake Garegnani, I bring you on here because you are Mr. Glass half full. I'm Miss Glass half empty. But I'll tell you this too, and I think the absolute certainty by this rotation about 2026 and their starting pitching is Nick Pivetta, who, by the way, has been an absolute brilliant signing for AJ Preller on a very, very quiet offseason. He's become their ace. He's become their stopper. This guy, he's so effective, especially when the team has after a loss. Nick Pivetta, and then after that, for me, it's a giant question mark. Would I bet against Joe Musgrove? No, that guy works so freaking hard. But don't forget, Joe, he's coming off major surgery, 2 years left on his deal. I do wonder how much longer Yu Darvish really wants to go ahead and pitch. He's missed a lot of time over the past couple of years. And if he is injured again, is this someone that wants to go ahead and work his way back, the way he had to for this season? So I think, like, right now, my certainty is Nick Pivetta, and then we're going to see what's going to happen. That's why I also wonder, and I pose this to Kyle Glazer when we spoke, because the Padres are playing the Marlins, are there any names that would make sense off their roster that they could trade with? Because they have been familiar trade partners. And I'm going to butcher his last name, Sandy Alcantara. I'm very, very sorry. I should look this up. I should have written it out. But I also wonder if you're AJ Preller, if it's shocking if they were to add starting pitching, because you can't have enough pitching. And how are you not thinking about your future with this, your future for next season, when you have two guys who are going to get paid elsewhere?
Yeah, and look, he definitely is thinking about it. He you know, I know I mentioned that he figured out now and operate later, but it's a long-term plan for them as well. Sandy Alcantara is an interesting guy because he has not thrown the ball well at all, and a lot of what people have talked about is that his trade value has just tanked. But you have a guy in Ruben Niebla who's proven time and time again he's been able to fix dudes like that. So maybe that's a great move for the Padres to bring a guy like that in. You know, and to your point, Nick Pivetta is like, he's been good in his career, but not great like he is this year. What's the factor that's gone in and made him great this year? Interesting. So, like, when the Padres go and get some of these guys that have been borderline, and obviously Alcantara had his incredible season, but like when they get some of these borderline cats and they bring them in, and you have like all the faith in the world in Ruben Niebla to help fix them and that staff and everything. So there's a lot of interesting pieces they could make moves on. And to the Nick Pivetta thing again is like, let's give AJ Preller some credit. And yes, he gets plenty of credit, but like some of the signings in the offseason that have just been flat out brilliant. Nick, obviously the front runner, Gavin has gotten plenty of talk, but like the Jose Iglesiases and like that, the people like that have been just unbelievable this season for what their roles have been asked to do. So it's been talented. And honestly, I got a lot of faith in this front office, in this system that they have to continue to do that.
Are you at peace? Do you believe it strongly? And will you praise AJ Preller in the front office as much if they do not figure out another catcher before the deadline?
Yeah, they need to figure that out. They need to figure that out. Like, it's cool. Elias Diaz hit a home run in that series finale against the Nationals, and he pops one out every once in a while. But to me, and for maybe months now, I've been saying it's the highest concern. I honestly, like, left field almost, don't laugh at me, but it almost feels figured out. Like, Gavin's playing pretty good left field.
We're good. We're good. Even though he almost just killed himself out in left field, we're good with Gavin Sheets back in left field.
We're good. Honestly, though, I heard
he's serviceable, but like in a tight ball game, in a 1-run ball game, and say you're playing the Dodgers, you're gonna switch him out. I mean, you're gonna bring someone else. You're bringing someone else to go ahead and play left field.
AJ Caswell say this on your show, and I thought it was brilliant. And he made a wonderful point in saying that the Padres are no longer desperate for a left fielder, which is huge, right? They're no longer desperate in a sense of being taken advantage of in a trade situation. And what they are, in my opinion, desperate for is catcher. And it, to me, is like, that's got to be top priority. Everything else kind of down here. I think that Elias Diaz and Marty Maldonado have been exactly what we've expected all year of them. And that's what they're doing. It's like, okay, now's the time to upgrade at the catcher position. I think the hard thing is, though, Marty, there's just not a ton of options out there at the catching position. So as desperately as they need to get better at it, it's like, where do you go? You think of, Sean Murphy in Atlanta, but that contract's super gnarly. Like, it's just.
I know what, by the way, it's really not. It's $15 million a season for the next 3 years. And I'm thinking, I know it sounds like it's a lot. Maybe it is for the Padres, but I'm also thinking they can be creative with, maybe they can move salary off their current roster right now. I'm not sure if it'd be a Suarez or a Cronenworth or someone like that, but $15 million for a catcher like Sean Murphy, that shouldn't be prohibitive for the Padres, given their issues, but we'll see. I would disagree with you. And I know that there's so much focus on Maldonado and Diaz on the production, but I would say that getting a full-time bat, an offensive bat, left field DH, I think that's bigger, because when the Padres are pinch hitting Trenton Brooks in key situations, man, that can't be who you rely upon in these situations. That to me is
and I think the hope is that the catcher you bring in is an offensive weapon, right? Like, I think that's obviously the catcher they would go after, since they have quote unquote defensive minded catchers right now. But I mean, obviously getting a couple bats is huge. And it's really, like I mentioned earlier, you've got to bolster the depth of this team. I think that has to be the move at the deadline. I would
agree. All right, Jake. If the Padres, this is a huge, I know we all circled like when they play the Dodgers, right? Earlier, the D-backs before they've fallen apart. Same with the Giants as well. But this is a massive road trip for the Padres. 3 with the Marlins, 4 with the Cardinals, who are right there in the hunt for that final wild card spot. If they lose a series to the Marlins, sellers?
No. No, they're not. They're not sellers no matter what, in my mind, to be honest. I mean, unless they literally lose the next 10 games,
10 games in a row.
towards the deadline, I
Mm-hmm.
don't see any way this team is sellers. There's a multitude of reasons. One, they're obviously right in the hunt. And
Yeah.
two, like, they're not going to give up on years with this core roster. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? There's just too many big pieces in the prime of their career, and their window is now. And so this team does not punt on seasons like that, and they won't this year. They're going to be buyers at the deadline.
All right, Jake, are you a nerd? Big
I'm a
nerd,
nerd,
medium
yeah.
nerd? Okay, so will you be at Comic-Con this week?
I've gone. Okay, can I say something about Comic-Con? I don't know if I'm going to be
Please.
down there this year, but I got tickets one year, and I went, and I love.
Wait, stop right there. I'm going to stop you right there. They're not called tickets.
Okay,
Badge. You get a badge.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, appreciate that. So we got to go one year. I got my wife and I went. I got the 2 badges. This has nothing to do with sports, by the way. And I went down there. Well, it kind of does. And I went down there, and I found there was nothing cooler in the world than seeing all these people in their element, like so happy, thriving in their element. And I'm such a sports-minded person that I typically get to see that when I go to the stadium and stuff like that. And sports are these, great escape for so many people.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really fun to see it in a different light, in a different aspect. These people literally having the time of their lives, going down there, dressing up, thriving. It was so much fun for me to just see the amount of joy that surrounds Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so hooked. I'm in. I loved it. Hopefully I get some badges this year.
The time, the detail, the elaborate costumes, it's so much fun. But even if you're not into it, and if you're here in San Diego and you're watching this, man, and you've never been, go at least one time, set up shop, find your drinking establishment or happy hour or taco place in downtown, and just watch the people come by. It is fantastic. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I haven't been in a couple of years. I kind of needed to get a break from it, but I've gone a couple times. My sister used to be a huge nerd. She's now a recovering nerd, but no, it's fun. I wish I had gone when they had like all the Game of Thrones, all those panels, but I missed out. And I know this year you don't have the big studios going, but the parties, it's still going to be a lot of fun to go out there and just people watch and see what people are doing. It really is.
Who would you dress up as if you were going this year? And you were going to wear a costume. Who would you be?
I know there's that many people out there, and it's so hot and sweaty. Like, you're going to see people walking out like in those full Chewbacca outfits. I'm like, how do you guys do this when it's 85 degrees and there's like 100,000 people walking in in the spot? I really don't know. I will get back to you on that because I don't know the answer. Like,
all right, I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it, but I want an answer next time we do this show. Who you would dress up as? Because I think it's huge. It's a big personality trait of who Marty Caswell would dress up.
Yeah,
as.
I'm gonna reveal myself when I tell you this. Okay, one more thing. Did you go to Del Mar? Did you go to Del Mar opening day?
I did not. I went for with our former sports anchor Kyle Kraska for many years opening day.
Dude, Kyle would dress up. Kyle, it was the best dressed guy by far. I mean, easily the purple suits. I'm like, how do you get away with this stuff? Kyle Kraska could pull that off.
Yeah, not me so much, but I went. I mean, we must have gone 5-6 years in a row, and he would go to the nines. He would get rent a limo for the day, and we would have a good time. I haven't been in a while, but it's always fun to get out there to the track. And my wife works and lives in the horse world, and it's what a world it is. It's quite the place. But did you get out there?
No, I haven't gone. I haven't gone in years. Darren and I used to broadcast live every single year. That was always a disaster. And it's cool. I mean, it was fun. It was fun, like interviewing people on day one. I would stand there in the front. I would stalk like Norv Turner coming in with Troy Aikman. They would come in every single year. I'd get, Sean Merriman doing his thing. That's where I first interviewed Aaron Rodgers. He used to come by all the time when he lived in Del Mar. But no, I haven't gone in years. It's just too much of a mess. My shoes would come home with just crap all over it, which drove me crazy. I didn't like the hat. I got tired of dressing up. You look at me. Do you see this? I'm wearing a hat right now, man. I'm
Let's
done.
Go Storm.
I've traded in my big foofy hat and the dresses and the high heels for this and my running tank top. So this is Marty Caswell. This is my happy place, man. I am done with Del Mar.
Fashion icon, my friend. You are a fashion icon. I saw Antonio Gates was there. I think our boy Darnay Tripp got an interview with him at Del Mar.
Nice.
There's always some good stars out there.
Yeah, Antonio Gates, man.
I'll have you send me some fashion tips for my anchoring duties, and you can help me out.
Oh, jeez. I can't. All right, Jake, you're the man. You're the man. Now listen to me. I'm not sure what you have going on this week, but if the Padres make a trade, I'm gonna demand that you join me again. We're gonna break it down. We're gonna give grades, report cards, all that fun stuff. I hope they do. I know we have 10 days when the Padres come home before that deadline. How are they off, by the way? How are the Padres off the day of the deadline? That's right.
It's
Is that
great.
right? The 31st.
The 31st is an off day, right? Yeah,
It is an off day. It's next. Yeah, it's week from Thursday.
It's a good one. That'll be interesting. I will happily jump on the show and bring positivity to the trade deadline when we have it, and it'll be great. By the way, CBS has games this Saturday. The Cardinal game is on CBS 8 Saturday, and then we have 3 in a row. The 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd are all CBS games, or CW, depending, which should be fun. That's Red Sox, Dodgers, and Dodgers again, I think.
Wow, that's for the division.
Big ones. We got some big ones.
That's for the division, right? Hey, by the way, I'm not sure if I've seen this. Did anybody ask Tatis about what it was like having Dave Roberts as his manager in the All-Star game?
I don't think we got
after he ordered the code red. I mean, did we find this out? I need this information.
Talk to him since we need to ask him. I know there was some interesting conversations amongst the fans with Roberts and his choice of taking certain pitchers in and out of the game for the Padres, but I'll leave it at that. And I don't think we've spoken to El Nino since. We need to chat it up with him.
See, if he were really being evil, he would have had Robert Suarez pitch like 4 innings in the All-Star game, right? Just wear out that.
Just leave him out there.
Yes, leave him out there.
Mess with his mental ability there.
Yeah, there you go. Jake, you are the man. Thank you so much for joining me. Go enjoy Comic-Con, or Del Mar, whatever you want to go ahead and do. But I always appreciate you joining me. It's been a blast.
Marty, I appreciate you as well. Much love, and have a wonderful week. And we'll chat soon when the Padres are, right there in the division lead.
I look forward to it. Thanks, Jake.
Much love, Marty. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, that's Jake Garegnani from local CBS. Man, he is the man. All right, before I want to go ahead and play a part of a conversation I had with Manny Machado. We spoke, when over the Padres' last homestand, and part of the reason for this conversation, right? Manny's been solid, but when ESPN was here for the Padres and the Rangers, I'm listening to the broadcast, and Tim Kirchin talked about a conversation that he had with Manny on really feeling better now as a player, feeling better physically and mentally than he has in the past 3 years. And so that's where I go with Manny Machado. Before I get to that conversation, I do want to say one thing about my friend and my former colleague, Darren Smith. We've been friends for 20 years. We've talked about the issues that we both faced in our personal life, including our parents. And I know that Darren recently lost his dad. So I'm thinking of Darren. All of us have bonds with our parents, and especially with the dad. A lot of times your fandom comes from your dad. It can come from your mom, but I know that one of the closest bonds I've had with my dad was our shared love of the NFL, the former NFL team, and the Padres and things like that. So I'm thinking of Darren, who lost his dad, and I'm thinking of so many of you who are probably dealing with issues with your parents. Anyways, Darren Smith, if you are watching this, or if someone tells you this, man, thinking about you and your family during these difficult times. All right, to go ahead and close today's show, here is a part of a conversation I had with Manny Machado about where he is mentally and physically. Here we go, Manny Machado. Can broadcast. Tim Kirchin made a comment about the conversation he had with you about how you feel better now physically than you did 3 years ago. Has that been conscious effort on your part? What's been the reason for that?
I mean, it's just taking care of your body. I know what I want to do ultimately is play to the end of this contract and be playing at the highest level. So, ultimately it's just taking care of your body, knowing what your body needs, knowing what you need to do to go out there and perform every single day, and what works and what doesn't.
It was really cool on Tuesday night when the Padres honored you for 2,000 hits, right? And I'm seeing you out there with Eric Grubner and John Seibert and AJ Preller. I just noticed how close that relationship is with AJ Preller. How has that relationship evolved since the day that you saw him?
It's obviously, from day one, when we sat down in Miami and spoke about the future and spoke about, what I would mean to this ball club, and just building off of that relationship. I think we've come a long way. It's been a two-way street. He listens to me, and vice versa. So it's been awesome to see both of us grow. Be a part of his vision that he saw for this organization and see it come to life. Obviously, we've fallen short a few times, but we've come a long way from that day, and it's been pretty awesome to see.
What's that bond like? I mean, you clearly have a trust factor in AJ Preller and his ability to go ahead and build and constantly rebuild.
Yeah, it's just knowing what this team is. I think at the end of the day, I think he puts the trust in me to go out there and perform and play at the highest level and be able to carry this team for a long period of time. And after that, it's just kind of seeing who fits, who doesn't. Kind of like not really relying on many obstacles that it takes. I think it's been a healthy relationship between both of us where we just go back and forth on what can we do to make this team better every single year. Whether it's pitching, hitting, offense, analytics. Whatever it is, what can we do to improve? I think every year is different, and he's been always open to trying to make this team as best as we can every single year.
That being said, now you have 5 All-Stars again with more home being added. How shocked would you be if he did not make moves come this deadline? With the group that you guys have, it's a really special group in here.
I mean, it's at the end of the day. I mean, we know what we have here, and we know what it takes to win. So. Yeah, I mean, will we ever be shocked? Probably not. AJ's always, he never seems to, let anything slide by. But I mean, I always try to take away that GM had. It's too hard to do, and I let him do what's best for the team. I have faith in him, and I know that he wants nothing but the best for the organization, and he's going to do what's best for it. So, our job is to go out there and perform and hopefully put us in a really good spot.
Before I get on to your other team, one question about, have you gotten to know John Seidler any better? I know you and Peter were so
Yeah, we're super close. I mean, me and Peter, I don't think we'll ever be as close to anyone as I was with Peter. But yeah, hopefully, we could get to that one day. But yeah, Peter, what he did with for this organization, I mean, he listened to everybody. He listened to, his players, staff, workers that worked here, front office. I think he had a really good understanding of it takes everyone to make an organization great, and he was a special man.
Okay, so that was part of my conversation with Manny Machado about his relationship with AJ Preller, how it's involved, the trust they have each other. I'm going to go ahead and answer this question because I asked Manny, if the Padres don't make a trade, how shocked would you be? I know what he's saying. You wouldn't believe in the guys you have in there. I think he would be shocked. I think the rest of his teammates would be as well, and that would be interesting. You always think about the questions that you should have asked, or that you wish you were phrased better. The question I wished I had the question I wished I had asked Manny was, do you believe this current ownership group is as committed to winning? Are they following Peter Seidler's vision? I guess we're gonna find out in the next couple of weeks. All right, guys, you can find the rest of this interview if you would like at Marty Time TV. We actually had a conversation as well about SDFC and whether or not season 1 has exceeded his expectations. All right, guys, tomorrow we'll catch up with AJ Caswell from Miami. He is there for Padres and Marlins. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them my way at Marty Caswell 619 on the Twitter, or on IG at Marty. Wait, that's not right. At Marty Caswell on Twitter, at Marty Caswell 619 on the IG. Have a wonderful Monday, whether you're getting ready for Comic-Con or Del Mar this week. And we will talk to you tomorrow. We are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Oh, hell yeah. I don't take shit lightly. Of course, today wasn't my best day. I didn't feel the very best, but then again, it's okay. It's not everybody has their days, but see how it is. We'll see them next week again. I really don't care who I face at the plate. I ain't afraid of anybody. I'm gonna throw my best shit that I have and throw what I can. But other than that, that's about it. They had a good game today. They fought back. They took advantage of some pitches that I left over the plate. Next time, gotta try to fix that. See how it goes.